Hello dear friends, today here in my studio I have a distinguished guest from Pakistan, Ms. Sana Imran, who is currently getting her doctoral degree here in Azerbaijan in Khazar University. Ms. Sana Imran is a very good researcher and good professor who are teaching in many universities. Today we will speak about overall relations between Azerbaijan and Pakistan and also ask the questions about her recent research papers. So, hello Ms. Sana.
Hi.
Welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity and for the warm introduction.
Thank you very much for finding the time to visit us and for this interview. So you're staying in Azerbaijan for the last 3 years. Please tell us what are your reflections about Azerbaijan and how your opinion about this country evolved during the last 3 years.
So we arrived here back in summer 2014, and it has been almost 3 years now since we have been in Baku, Azerbaijan. When we came here, we did not come up with any preconceived notions. I still remember the time when I stepped at the airport and I was so pleasantly surprised by the aura that was all around me. So we have had a wonderful time. Me and my family had a relishing and a memorable time if I look back at these 3 years. Let me say it from the onset that Baku, Azerbaijan in general is a lovely place, and the people of Azerbaijan, they are highly cordial and hospitable. I have experienced this hospitality myself as well. So since the time we have been here, people have been out and all congenial with us, and despite the language barrier, we could easily evade the cultural shock, and because of the adaptability, we quickly adjusted to the Azerbaijani society and the environment. So it was quite easy for us. Azerbaijan, otherwise, I would say that it is a very peaceful, steady, progressing, fast developing Muslim country, which is endowed with mesmerizing natural beauty. Yes, if you look at the economy of Azerbaijan, initially it was driven by oil revenues, but with the recent initiatives to jack up the non-oil sectors, I think they are equally noteworthy. And the kind of initiatives that have been undertaken to diversify the economy, they are commendable so far. So that is one thing. As far as my evolution of opinion is concerned, I would definitely say that it has evolved in a very positive manner. As you know that I'm here on a diplomatic visa and an assignment also. I generally accompany my husband to most of the diplomatic receptions we have here. So I meet a lot of state officials, notable locals, and the diplomatic fraternity. I must mention out here that the diplomatic fraternity and all the foreign diplomats, their opinion and the impression of Azerbaijan is encouragingly positive. The secularism, the multiculturalist approach that the society has is something that is lauded by all. So I think that is something for me, pluralism and the multiculturalist orientation of the society, they are the greatest strength of Azerbaijan, and which works in this competitive and extremist world that we have around us.
Azerbaijan and Pakistan have very good and sustainable bilateral cooperation in many areas, including economic, political, cultural, and defense fields. How do the people in Pakistan view Azerbaijan? What similarities can be observed between our societies, and what measures do you recommend to strengthen the friendship between relations of two Muslim countries?
As you must be knowing, and it is quite known to all, that Pakistan and Azerbaijan are two very close brotherly nations. So you must be knowing that Pakistan was amongst the first nations to recognize Azerbaijan. So the Pakistani Senate was the first one to term the Khojali massacre as a genocide. So Pakistan Pakistan has not established any diplomatic relations with Armenia, and the core reason for that is the illegal occupation of Azeri lands in the Nagorno-Karabakh. Apart from that, there is a lot of state-level affinity between the two nations. If we talk about the common masses, I feel that the two brotherly nations have exceptional chemistry between the masses also. So Pakistan, they regard their Azeri brothers in high esteem, and similarly when someone from Pakistan comes to Azerbaijan, they hold a lot of value and they are very cordial towards them. The cultural affinities, the historical bonds that we share, I think that is also praiseworthy. Apart from that, I think the living style, the mindset, and the religion that becomes the umbrella of all, that is something that brings us more close to each other. So that is there. So the existence of excellent political relations at the top level, the chemistry between the top leadership, and the confidence between the masses, the common masses, I think these are essentially important for any enduring relationship, and fortunately all these three ingredients are absolutely available when it comes to Azerbaijan and Pakistan. So I see a lot of mutual confidence and trust between the two nations, and it will further strengthen only. In terms of bilateral cooperation these days, I think that there is a lot of trade potential between the two countries. Currently, it is not being tapped upon to the extent it can be, but I am very hopeful and certain that with the interest of the top level leadership, this bond will strengthen further, and the bilateral trade will also improve in the times to come.
You have very good experience in researching, and you have already written and published several articles. Please tell us about the aspect of your research work. Why did you choose Azerbaijan as your specific area in several papers, and what kind of methodology you usually use in your papers?
Okay, talking briefly about my work. So my work generally, I'm trying to draw a relationship association between brands and how they can be used as soft power tools to strengthen national identity and subsequently national image. So that is my area of research, that how brands can be aptly used for constructing and strengthening national identity. I am not only exploring national identity as my subject, but I also explore the elements that can help in promoting the national image. So that is there. Apart from that, I'm evaluating the perception of local brands against the foreign brands in the local environment. This question that you just referred to, that why I chose Azerbaijan as my area of research, that was a deliberate move that I had made. So Azerbaijan, I feel that it is getting known to the world with every passing day. It is an emerging success story which needs to be publicized at all levels. So Azerbaijan gave me a perfect field of research, perfect domain of research, because I could see and observe that there is a lot of interest that is there currently in the nation branding techniques. There have been numerous mega events that have been recently hosted by Azerbaijan. Eurovision, European Games, Formula 1, Islamic Solidarity Games, which have been recently conducted over here, are just to name a few. So in this research, what I'm trying to attempt is that I want to see that how these techniques can be used in building up the national image and also the national identity of any country. Now, if we talk about the national identity of Azerbaijan, it is because of the historical background, cultural, geographic, domains. It is complex yet multi-layered geopolitical identity, as I may call it. So Azerbaijan, I observe that the government leadership, it is focusing upon this area, and they want to promote the Azerbaijani nationality on its own, which talks about civic nationalism, secularism, and multiculturalism. And so it gave me the right platform to explore my work. Now, as for the research methodology, I have conducted my research in a very pragmatic and a well-mediated manner. My research, as I just discussed, I had to substantiate my research and qualify my argument for that, which is based on two dimensions. So there, when we talk about national identity, it is very consumer oriented. On the other side, when we talk about building brands, it is completely it is the domain of a marketeer. So when I was trying to collaborate the two, I had to use a dual methodology of research. So what I did was that I did a I used a quantitative construct for my consumer research, and on the other side I used a qualitative method for the industrial sector. For the consumer-based research, I developed a survey, a questionnaire that was handed out to people from different walks of life, from different regions of Azerbaijan. And for the industrial research, I conducted many in-depth interviews from organizations and companies like Asan Khidmat, tea industry, like companies from the tea industry, specifically Astara Chai, Azerson. Then there were organizations like AS Promo and Center for Strategic Studies. So these were, and they gave me such valuable input that was really helpful in my academic pursuit.
What national brands of Azerbaijan have you incorporated in your research work and why?
Okay, factually speaking, currently Azerbaijan has very little brands of its own, but I'm very positive that with this recent initiative that are being taken in the line of diversification, very soon there would be many other products and services that can be used for the nation branding techniques. What I have taken in my research is, like, I had divided my research into two areas. So I was looking both at the service sector and the manufacturing sector. So from the service sector, I selected Asan Khidmat, and from the manufacturing sector, I selected the tea industry because I see both the products and services having the potential and the capacity of being iconic brands of Azerbaijan. Other than that, Azerbaijan has a lot of heritage brands. If you look at pomegranates, silk scarf, Mugham, and many other products which can be termed as the heritage brands of Azerbaijan and are equally important. And with the recent development in tourism and hosting of mega events have become a trademark of Azerbaijan, and they have become a signature brand of Azerbaijan. And this is something that can be used as a nation branding technique for a long while. Apart from that, I also see that Sokar, which it is a big giant from the country, and it is carrying the Azeri flags to many regions of the world. Then you have Haider Aliyev Foundation, which is involved in a lot of cultural activities projecting a softer image of Azerbaijan. If we come to the private sector, then there are giant companies like Pasha Group and Gilan, and then there is Azerson, which are chipping in their bit to create national brands of Azerbaijan.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for this interview, for your time, and I'm sure that your research will help to many people in Azerbaijan and all around the world. Just to remind, today we had Ms. Sana Imran in our studio, and thank you very much for being with us, and we will come back to you with more interviews in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you.